The 32X has 4 exclusive space-based shooters, with 3 being fairly well known for fairly specific reasons. Darkside for its rarity, Zaxxon's Mother Base 2000 due to its relationship to the famous franchise, and Star Wars the arcade game for being a Sega-developed Star Wars game. The final game is Stellar Assault. If you grew up with the 32X, there is a good chance you weren't aware this game existed or bypassed it thinking it was a crappy Star Wars the arcade game knockoff, just like you did when you saw the movies What's Up, Atlantic Rim, and of course, Texas Roadside Massacre. Is this another case of a crappy series trying to capitalize off of pop culture, or one that legitimately deserves to be discussed? This is Retro Impressions Stellar Assault Series Review. Stellar Assault is a first-party title developed by Sega and released in the summer of 1995 under the title of Shadow Squadron in North America. This is a 3D space combat simulator that gives the player full control over the ship in an extremely large and open area. The story here is incredibly basic. A fleet of large ships is heading towards your home planet and have snuck past the early warning systems, putting them in a position where you are the only ship close enough and powerful enough to stop them. This game has a lot to offer in the options menu, especially considering the era in which this title released. You can change your flight controls, customize the controller layout, select the color of yours or the enemy's ship, utilize the object viewer to inspect the various in-game ships, and take advantage of a few options relating to sound. There is a 2-player option allowing for a pilot and gunner setup. Personally, I've never liked these arrangements, but it's available if you do. The controls are very responsive in this game, making full use of the 6-button controller and then some. Even the mode button has its own unique action being utilized for changing the view from first to third person. The ship controls as you would expect, allowing the player to control the pitch, yaw, and roll of the craft. When you start, you're presented with the choice of 2 unique ships that not only control very differently, but also offer the player unique weapon and strategy opportunities. Feather 1 is a nimble ship that utilizes auto-firing twin laser cannons, allowing you to hold down the A button and just let them rip. It's also equipped with guided multi-targeting laser torpedoes and a spectral shield. Feather 2 is a heavy class ship with a high-powered manual fire laser cannon, meaning that you have to smash the A button for every single shot you're going to take. It also has access to a single target energy torpedo and a stronger shield. After you select your ship, you can choose between an on-rails type experience or retain the ability to fly the ship yourself. I personally can't imagine not flying the ship because that's half of the fun. Still, I appreciate the fact that it's included and have in fact read where people prefer this over the manual setup. Once you've made your choice, you'll be treated to a really awesome startup and launch sequence before you're briefed on the first mission. It's fairly straightforward: destroy all the ships that have just moved out of hyperspace. When you start the actual mission, a few things are displayed and they are all very important. The green bar is your speed, you can speed up or slow down your ship as needed. The blue bar is your shield, and the red bar is your energy reserves. It's important that we talk about these 2 ships once again and how they operate with these things in mind. Both ships use energy and shield to perform certain tasks such as speeding up, activating the spectral shield, and launching torpedoes. If you don't manage these reserves carefully, they could deplete well into the middle of a mission, causing you to fail. Luckily, Feather 1 has the opportunity to refill its energy after each mission, leaving you with a fully restored ship as you move on to the next level. Feather 2, on the other hand, doesn't receive this option, meaning that you're stuck with the energy reserves you started the game with until the very end. On top of this, those reserves are used to repair your shield after each mission. At this point, you might be thinking that the Feather 2 is far inferior to number 1. But there is one last thing to cover, and that's the barrage of missiles and torpedoes that you'll be encountering throughout the game. It can get quite hairy out there, and only Feather 2 has a cannon powerful enough to destroy these, making it my preferred ship and the ship I recommend you tackle this game with. As you move on to the second mission, you'll need to intercept 17 fighters and 3 capital ships guarding an acceleration gate. The enemy is in the process of setting this gate up to bring in additional warships. From there, you're off to take out the enemy resupply stations that are set up in an asteroid belt. It's fairly easy to avoid the asteroids, allowing you to focus on taking down the assigned targets. Warping to the next location, you'll be intercepting an armada consisting of 11 capital ships, including their flagship class Carvelis and 17 fighters. This is quite frankly the best level in the game, and the one that I find most impressive due to the sheer number of on-screen enemies you can encounter at one time. The last mission before the final boss pits you against 2 more of the incredibly tough Carvelis battleships, 14 very aggressive fighters, and an extremely large and easy to take down carrier. By the end, it's clear that the enemy intends to destroy your homeworld. They have constructed a huge laser cannon and are in the process of activating it, meaning that we need to take this thing out before it goes live. This is a time stage giving you exactly 3 minutes with very little time to spare. If you run out of time, the cannon activates, leading to a cool experience as it pulls your craft towards it, killing you in the process. This cannon is protected by an outer ring of slave units that you must destroy in order to reveal the weak spot of the weapon. Once you've done that, the clock resets to 2 minutes. Take out the cannon and you will become victorious. With the game over, the credits roll, and even though there is no ending, it's still extremely satisfying to play and finish this title. After the game restarts, you'll notice that there's a new option called Trace. This appears whenever you have finished the game, win or lose, and is an instant replay of your entire last playthrough. It's a cool addition, especially considering a playthrough can last anywhere between 1 and 2 hours. This game is extremely interesting in the aspect that every mission and battle revolves around taking down capital class ships, along with the standard squadrons of fighters you might anticipate in this style of game. There is a fantastic assortment of ships to go up against, and some real strategy required not only in how you approach the ships you need to destroy, but also how you manage your remaining energy. So let's talk about the graphics. This is an absolutely stunning game. If you're like me and love the flat shaded polygon look, this game knocks it out of the park. The draw distance is incredible, the number of large objects displayed at one time is impressive, and the sheer scale of capital ships you encounter along with their squadrons of fighters is astonishing. Some people feel that the backgrounds are a bit dull, but I think that's a bit unfair considering the graphical style used here. In fact, the attention to detail that is there is well thought out. My personal favorite is how your home star increases in size as you approach closer and closer level after level. Let's talk about some of the common complaints, starting with the audio. It's average, nothing more, nothing less, and without a doubt it's the worst part of this packaged experience. Most of the loops are fairly repetitive, although there are a few that really shine. I also received some negative comments from my family regarding some of the sound effects being a bit on the annoying side. I don't find any of it to be personally annoying, and even though I feel that the soundtrack is just average, it's still enjoyable to listen to while playing the game as it fits the atmosphere nicely. One oddity I found is you seldom, if ever, take fire from behind. I mean, the more aggressive enemy fighters will ram into you from behind in the later levels, but rarely will you need to deal with enemy fire from ships you're not facing. Maybe this was for the best though, making for a cleaner gaming experience, and quite frankly, it might have made beating the game near impossible if it was actually implemented here. There is also an issue people have regarding the ship's energy depletion. Personally, I think this was a brilliant move on behalf of the developers that forces the player to make hard decisions about the use of certain ship features, and without a doubt, makes the game more difficult. That's a good thing though, as this game is perfect in the difficulty department as far as I'm concerned, and would be an absolute pushover without this restriction in place. That's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Feel free to leave a positive or negative comment letting me know your thoughts. If you would like to chat or keep up to date on channel related news, follow me on Twitter at Jenovi. And until next time, you've been watching Retro Impressions.